So let's dig into this one. Injury certainly played a part for Toronto being in this predicament that they're in, but they're heading back home. Tyrese Maxey will not play in this because he's an anti-vaxxer, so he won't play north of the border. Matisse Thybulle, I should say.
Yeah, Matisse Thybulle.
Matisse Thybulle, yeah. But 20 points in the opener, 15 points. I don't know how you make it up. The Raptors 1-8 in series all time in the postseason when falling behind 0-2. Philly favored by 2. Total here is 217. First off, does Toronto stand up in front of the home front?
I think they do. I know this is not a very popular opinion. We have a lot of Philly residents who work in this particular building, and the newsroom folks did love it. I do think, look, the reality is that most of the experts, so-called experts, myself included, thought that Toronto was going to make a series of this. I thought Toronto was actually going to win the series. So did a lot of other folks at CBSSports.com and colleagues around the country who cover the series. Do I think that's still true? No, I don't. But am I suddenly going to flip the script entirely and say, all right, now they're going to get swept? No. If they're going to win it, I think they win a game in this series. This is the game. You brought up Thybulle. He's not there. I know there's no Scotty Barnes, which is a huge issue for this Toronto team. But Thybulle's sort of a counterweight. With him not playing the same sort of defensive youth, young energy, great defender, it's a significant loss for Philly. I don't believe that Tyrese Maxey is the next, Kyrie Irving, whoever it is. I mean, he's amazing, but I think he's going to score 40 points every night. No, he's a young dude. I don't trust James Harden in the postseason.
No doubt.
Embiid's always going to get his. I think Nick Nurse is a top 2 or 1 coach in the NBA, and I think this Raptors team has some pride. This is the game they fight in. They don't win the series. I think they're competitive in this game in a big way.
We the North, right?
We the North, yeah.
That crowd will be in a frenzy on this night. I mentioned the line, Philadelphia. That line's gone up to 2 points as favorites with the total at 217. Again, Gary Trent, not quite right physically. Thaddeus Young as well. They both played, but not necessarily well in that last game. So how do you view this with those lines?
I don't have the courage of my convictions to take the Raptors on the money line, but I do feel confident enough that it's going to be a close game. I think they can win the game, and I'll certainly just take them with the points. Give me 2 points. I think it's competitive, and we haven't seen, I'm taking such shots here, we just haven't seen the James Harden, Doc Rivers dud game. And by the way, Doc Rivers, I say this every time that I come on the show, on the air here, Doc Rivers has blown more 3-1 series leads than any coach in the history of the NBA. There are moments, many moments, where Doc Rivers gets up big in a series and then loses the series. There's a reason for that. Do I think that happens in this series? Probably not. But I do think the Raptors are a better team they showed in the first 2 games, and I like them to cover.
To back that point, Hawks last year, they blew 3 games where they were up by 20-plus in those games, including the finale in Philadelphia. Scotty Barnes is officially out for this matchup. I mentioned Embiid scoring 31 in Game 2. His point total for tonight, 31 and a hook, over or under.
All right, so my selection here is largely connected to the fact that I think the Raptors can win and will cover. I know Embiid's amazing. I think it's an under. I think they understand. I think Nick Nurse understands we have to throw bodies at Joel Embiid. We have to be physical at Joel Embiid. We keep him to 25 or 30. We have a chance to win this game. They want James Harden or Tyrese Maxey to have to beat him. And I know it's easier said than done. I think Embiid's one of the 3 best players on the face of the earth. I think it's close. I'm on the under. I don't love it, but I like the under.
All right, so James Harden hasn't shot well for some time now, not just the postseason. So perhaps points is not the way to go, but give our viewers something you'd focus on with regards to a prop for the beard with tonight's game.
So again, I went back and went through the data. It's such a, I don't mean to take shots at Harden again and again and again, but he has not performed well in the postseason over the course of his career in big games. And if you go back and look at some of the series that have gotten away from James Harden teams, it's often because he shoots too much and he stops distributing the basketball. And sometimes when he checks out, I know this didn't happen in the first 2 games, he'll just check out of the game entirely. So I think there's a percentage chance, let's call it 15 or 20, that he just isn't very active without the basketball. And even if he is engaged, I think 9.5 is too big of a number. I like under 9.5 assists for James Harden. Even if he has an outstanding game as a distributor, I think it's going to be one of those nights where the Raptors make it harder on Philly. I don't think Tyrese Maxey is going to hit as many shots. I don't think Embiid's going to have the same night, and that just pulls down the opportunity for those assist numbers. I like the under.
Yeah, it looks like in the postseason, Harden's obviously, it's early, been focusing on the giving part of it, as he had 14 points at the half in Game 2, finished with 14 points in that game. We mentioned Maxey averaging better than 30 in the first 2, but his points prop is 18 and a hook. How do you view it for tonight's game?
Yeah, Vegas really thinks there's going to be a course correction in what Maxey does, which is part of the reason I'm not high on Philly in general. I wanted to take, so I woke up this morning and I knew some bets I wanted to make. And I wanted to take the under on Maxey, and I saw the number and I stared at it for 5 minutes, Jim. It's too low. I'm going over. And obviously Vegas knows something. They're always on. He's not going to have a huge night, but 18.5, he's going to take more shots than James Harden because he wants to be that guy, and I don't think Harden does. I'll go a reluctant over on Maxi's point total.
Yeah, I guess it's because the young players on the road in the postseason, generally that's the case, but you're right. He has a different vibe to him, and he is their second guy with regards to scoring. He's Bill Reiter, and that's a look at how he views. Here's his thoughts on tonight's tip. Raptors, take those points at home. We the North. Going under that 31.5 for Joel Embiid, over that 18.5 for Tyrese Maxey. Top Harden prop. How about under the 9.5 assist mark for the Beard?
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.